Okay, guys, we're going to get straight into the podcast. Welcome back to another episode of The Real Me with Rail podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in once again. If you are new to this channel, I am your wonderful host, Rail. Nice to meet you. Thank you for tuning into the podcast. Couple announcements before we get into this episode. We just dropped an interview with Bravo the Bag Chaser, so make sure you guys go check that out. I'm very excited. I was very excited to do that and to bring it to the channel, and I it was so unplanned. Just talking about it real quick. I was at DB By The Bag's album release party, and that's also another vlog that we just dropped, so make sure you guys go tune into that. But, I met Bravo before. He was down. He said, let's do it right now. It's viral, and we ended up doing it. And, yeah, so make sure you guys go check those out. We just dropped those 2 episodes, I think, within the last 2 weeks. That being said, where I made the executive decision to decide that we are going to start going back to uploading once a week again, just because the monetization thing is just something that's been, something I've been talking about for a long time. But we got really close to getting monetized 2 months ago, and we still are close. Depending on if we get a certain interview that could happen, that could really monetize us pretty quick. But just for the sake of us being here, for our 3rd year now, to play it safe, we need to make sure that we stay on track. And for that to happen, we need to upload a lot. So we're back to that. So we're back to uploading every week. I'm going to be trying to keeping up with it as best as I can. So make sure you guys are subscribed right now. That being said as well, we are trying to get to 2,000 subscribers. So make sure you guys go subscribe. Besides that, make sure you guys are following me on Instagram at Jarrell. DM me. Feel free to let me know who you guys want to see next on the podcast. If you guys are interested in coming on to the podcast, if you guys want to do an interview with me and you guys want to do a podcast, just know I'm down. I'm always down to do the podcast. But this is nothing new, but it's always been different people. But right now, of course, it is my assistant, Ari. So that being said, if you are interested in doing a podcast or filming any type of content, make sure you guys are giving her a DM, and she will get back to you, and we'll lock it in for sure. A lot of people think when I say, oh, go DM my assistant, I'm trying to be cool or I'm trying to brush people off. That is not the case at all. If I was honestly trying to do that, then I wouldn't, or I would try. If I was trying to brush you off, I wouldn't tell you to DM her, because that means for sure I don't want to do shit. Because if I'm trying to do something to get it done, it goes through my assistant. Always. It always has been like that since Seren, since the real one that's been tapping in since season 1. It's been like that since Seren, and it's like that for a reason, because a couple reasons. That's just how my podcast is structured. That's just how I've been doing it since I've started, damn near from the first year. It's just a lot of scheduling. I tried taking care of my own schedule in the beginning, and it just doesn't work. I have too many people in the DMs, depending on the season or what's going on, but I've had a lot, sometimes not so many, but there's so many people that are in my DMs saying, let's do a podcast. And then, if we're charging them, then we're waiting on that. And then there's a whole set of other people that we're trying to get on to the podcast. So people that I'm just I'm trying to get on to invite on the show, that we're waiting on them. And then there's people that we potentially want to have, so we're waiting on them to respond to us. So there's just so many things that are moving around. So when it comes to my calendar and my schedule, my assistant, they take care of that. And that being said, shout out Ari. But yeah, make sure you guys go give her a DM if you guys are ever trying to be on to the podcast. We'll get it done for sure. I just wanted to remind you guys that I'm open to doing the podcast, but just make sure you guys are DMing my assistant Ari, and she will lock it in for sure. That being said, this video is sponsored by my boy Team Mars brand, 5-Star Apparel. I just wanted to shout him out real quick. He gave me this dope ass shirt to rock. This is my boy's brand. Me and him go way back since middle school. It's a beautiful thing to see people's ideas to come into fruition. And I'm honestly not too sure how long he's been working on his clothing brand, but I think it's been not too long, but he's been doing it for a little while. And then I've been loving to see the growth that he's made and the connections he's been doing, making throughout his time with this clothing. And that being said, it is 5-Star Apparel. I'm gonna scoot back for you guys can really see this, but super into the detail. It's nothing like the Real Me or Rail merch. We're more into the quality, but not as much detail. And I want to say this is for sure detail. Can you guys see this? So we got right here, got the rhinestones on it right here. Boom. I like the art on here. Course, sex, money, and we're just gonna skip that last part. But I love the shirt. It's dope, and I want you guys to go check it out. 5-Star Apparel. Shout out my guy Timar, and yeah, black owned. Make sure you guys go check that out. I will make sure to put a link in the description to make sure you guys can go check it out. That came out really fast, but make sure you guys can go check it out. But yeah, 5-Star Apparel. Shout out my guy Timar. TikTok. Make sure you guys are following us. We just made a brand new TikTok. It's called The Real Me Clips. So make sure you guys go check that out. It's pretty much same thing. My TikTok algorithm on my other one is kind of messed up, so we decided to make a new one, hoping that this will give us a better algorithm. I made that TikTok. I honestly, my first assistant made that a TikTok for me, and I never originally made it, so we just started fresh at The Real Me Clips. So I'll make sure to put all this stuff in the description. I think that's pretty much it. Also, PSA, we are on Twitch now, so we are streaming. A lot of people have been like, oh yeah, Jarrell, like go stream and this and that. And I told people, I said, bro, I'm not a streamer. I know I'm pretty funny and I have the energy, but I don't think I could be like the average typical streamer. Like, I'm not trying to be like anybody, to be honest with you, but I'm just saying, like, as in regards of just like the popular streamers like DG and them, and it takes a lot of energy for that. And I have energy, but it's just not like on 10 like all the time, you know. And doing this is kind of like difficult sometimes, like having to record. Like, I've had some days where I do interviews where I really like, and I think this is really important too. If you're ever into content, like, you understand, like, some days you're gonna have things going on and you just have things that you got to record and you have to be able to push through that. Perfect example I'll never forget is, if I'm getting really personal, was I would say there's a couple times, but there's one interview I did with my boy TTG Boo, great producer, and we had a scheduled podcast to do. You know, Saran hit me up and said, you got him come in at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, whatever it was. I remember that day, there's a girl that I was dating at the time. Oh my God, we used to always argue all the time, and we got into like the stupidest argument, like right before he slid through. And I just remember, like, my mind was completely somewhere else. And I was literally shooting this podcast in front of him, like, right. And I regret it because the podcast came out okay, but I didn't give him the full experience that I owed him. And I really do regret that, So TTG Boo, if you are watching this, bro, I definitely want to run it back with you for sure one more time. But just back to what I'm saying, yeah, you have to have a strong mindset when it comes to this content. You got to be able to separate it and still be able to film no matter what's going on. And yeah, this podcast, I use this podcast to express a lot of stuff that's going on with me, but sometimes I don't have the time exactly to do it. So if you guys see me do an interview with, I don't know, Low Grade or Asia, True Car or something like that, that's not the time where I'm going to be like, yeah, guys, so I just want to let you guys know I'm kind of like late on my car note right now, or something. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, I'm just giving you an example. I'm not late on my car note, but I'm just giving you an example of like something that could be going on in my real life, but you guys necessarily might not know because I'm in front of the camera doing an interview. But yeah, you gotta be able to separate it for sure. You gotta stay positive. It's tough, but yeah, we're streaming, guys. As of right now, I just have been streaming on my iMac right here at home. Just been kind of like just doing my thing there. I haven't done no IRL streams yet. I don't want to say never. I haven't looked too into it. Like I said, we're just getting started. We got monetized on Twitch, which is pretty cool. So I just been doing like reaction videos, watching videos from the podcast, and maybe watching some funny videos. I haven't been streaming for too long. My average streams are probably like 30 to 50 minutes, I think. I'm trying to get better. My living situation isn't the perfect right now. It's not like how I was at my old house where we was able to kind of like just get lit all the time. So I can't get loud, I can't smoke, and I can't do all that. And it's just not as entertaining as probably you guys probably would want it to be. But I am trying to do it. So that being said, make sure you guys go follow us on Twitch right now at The Real Me with Rel. And I think that pretty much covers it for announcements. And, of course, the clothing. We're going to put this up, pop this up right now. Season 4, we do got a new logo. Pretty dope. It's pretty much kind of on all the apparel now, where we've been kind of pushing on the crew necks. But pretty much any hoodie you order or crew neck, it's going to have, who's this? All right, hold on a second. Give me a sec, guys. I don't know who this. Oh, dang. Okay. Yeah, this. I was like, who is this? Anyways, yeah. So pretty much any clothing you guys pretty much order is gonna have the newest logo on it. Besides the vintage, we keep the vintage with the season 1 logo for we could always remember where we come from. But yeah, make sure you guys are ordering yourselves some merch for sure. We got that right now at the Real Me Clothing. And thank you for all the customers that's been supporting. And yeah, I want to do some type of like giveaway for the merch, so I'll keep you guys in tune with that if I plan on doing that. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the announcements. Okay, so today is a cool little solo episode. I got a couple questions. We're gonna get into the juicy stuff, which is the relationship talk, and I got some questions on my phone. Personally, I don't think I'm the best qualified person to be talking about relationships because I can't hold a relationship if you gave me $1 billion. Like I can't do it. So I just speak from my personal perspective. But I will tell you this, I've never gotten cheated on and I'm not in a toxic relationship, so I might be qualified. So at the same time, you actually might want to listen to what I'm saying because I might not have a bunch of fucked up stories, but that might be the point. So we're just gonna start it right here. Okay, so the first question that we have is right here is would you let your partner go through your old DMs? I think this is a pretty stupid question. They're old for a reason. So we're just gonna put no. But you guys let me know right now if you guys are comfortable with your partner going through some of your old DMs. I don't know. I don't see the point in that. Digging up the past is never too good. Let's see. The next question would be biggest dating icks. What are yours? One of my biggest dating icks. I feel like I don't have too much of like icks and stuff like that, to be honest with you. But if I would have to say, I think like this isn't dating. I think this is an ick in general. But if I'm on a date with you, and like if I can't like finish my thought process, like, but yeah, if I can't finish my thought process when I'm talking, like I think that's the biggest ick for me. So if you like interrupt me, and I don't know, it's a gray line because I get it. Some women get like excited, like, you know, when you're talking to them and they just be like, oh yeah, like, you know, but like if you keep doing that, like I'm gonna get irritated. 'Cause that means like you don't care about what I gotta say, and that's that's something that's gonna be on my nerves for sure. So I would say that definitely is one of my biggest icks. Just people that interrupt me on a date. I can't stand being interrupted. When it comes to like, I know people are probably thinking of like, oh, paying for the date. I believe it's whoever's idea was to go on a date is responsible for paying for it. I am not opposed of women paying for the date. I don't see why a woman would pay for the date, but if she wanted to pay for it, I don't think that's a problem. That's not me. I think there's nothing wrong with that. I personally, like I just said, whoever's idea it is to go on a date, I think should pay for it. And yeah, that's pretty much my 2 cents on it. Okay, let's see. The next question I have, this is a good one, guys. This is probably gonna be the title of the video too. Is cheating forgivable? And you know, before I comment on this situation, I just want to let you guys know I've never ever cheated on anybody in my life. So I'm speaking, like I said from the beginning of the episode, I said I speak from my perspective. I've never been cheated on, and I've never cheated on anybody. So I'm just gonna answer that now. But I think no, I personally think cheating is not forgivable because people have all these excuses for cheating and why it's okay and why it's not or whatever. But the thing that people don't understand, what I look at it is like, you don't understand. This is what people I feel like don't understand. You know how much energy and time you have to put into someone for it to be considered called cheating. So if you're cheating on somebody, it's most likely because you've been with this person for X amount of hours. I meant amount of time, you know, and it's usually not short. You know, it's usually a good amount because to form a relationship, that takes time. No matter if it's a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, I don't know, but it's not going to be an overnight thing. I wouldn't assume. So I don't really have remorse for cheaters because I'm not saying you have to be soul ties with everyone that you date or whatever, but I do believe like if you don't want to be with somebody, you don't have to be. So I think when it comes to cheating, I don't know, but sometimes we fuck up. So we're gonna say, sometimes it's, I don't know, because there's different types of cheating. Like I'm pretty sure, I don't know. I don't forgive it. I don't think it's cool at all. I don't know. So I was trying to like look at it from a different perspective. Like maybe if you're in a long relationship and then just like it's a one-time thing, an accident, whatever. But like I said, I don't have remorse for cheaters because you let it get that serious. And if you love me, why would you do that? So I don't know. I can't really relate to that. But yeah, is it forgivable? I'll tell you right now, I can't. I can't forgive you. I'll tell you this right now. We can clip this right now. You could take me. The date is August, whatever, 2025. I'm 23 years old. I don't care when I'm more successful or what. If you cheat on me, babe, we're done. I can't look at you the same. I can't look at you the same. I just can't. I can't do it. If you cheat on me, we're done. Because I have a big heart and I love truly and I love genuinely. So I don't really, I don't take it that far off the bat, to be honest with you. So if you're someone that I love and we're together and you cheat on me, that's going to hurt me. And I don't like that. And I don't have sympathy for that. I'm sorry. So no, cheating is not forgivable in my eyes. I'm sorry. I'm not that. I don't have that much compassion. So if you're ever thinking about, oh yeah, I'm going to cheat on them, don't, bitch, because it's not going to work. Anyways, yeah, that's pretty much my opinion on that one. Let's see, what's the next question right now? We got, can you truly love two people at the same time? I don't think so. I don't think you can truly love. You can have love for multiple people, but I think true love, being in love, is for one person. I truly believe in that. I was raised in a two. I'm doing it again. Why do I lean like that? I don't get it. I don't get it. I was raised in a two-parent. I was raised in a two-parent household, so my moms never cheated on each other. That wasn't something that was in my house growing up. I grew up with two parents and they were faithful to each other, and they ended up getting a divorce way later, probably when I was a teenager. And it had nothing to do with anyone stepping out or anything like that. It was just more of like some other family personal things that were going on, but it had nothing to do with like anybody else being in the picture. And I will put that on everything I love. So, and that's just what I've seen. My parents didn't do that, so I never really thought that was cool. My moms loved each other, and they still do love each other to this day. But yeah, I don't. My parents are old fashioned. They met at work, got to know each other, eventually moved in together, got married, adopted me, and I think that's the best way to do it. To be honest with you, I'm the product of it, so that's just what I know, to be honest with you. And that's really life. It's all about what you know and what you're told. And everybody has different circumstances. But yeah, I don't think you could truly love two people at the same time. I think the minute you have love for somebody else is it's the love isn't genuine or true anymore, or it's just not how it used to be. Because I don't think true love is for one person. Being in love with somebody is in love with somebody. You could have love for other people, but I think true love, and I think that's what the highlight of it. Can you truly be in love with two, or can you truly love people? Can you truly love two people at the same time? I don't think you can. I think if you would say you're in love with somebody and you start thinking that you got love for somebody else, you're no longer in love with that person. And that's just my opinion on it. For real. True love is for one person, not for two. For the ones in the back. Okay, so this is another question. Should your partner have access to your phone passwords? I have never, ever been a fan of passwords. I think having phone passwords are for parents. I think parents should have passwords to their kids' phones. I'm an adult. My mom would look through my phone all the time, and I honestly hated it. And I think any kid that's watching this is probably saying I'm tripping. But if we're gonna go with that, I think I think it just depends on what. Just because, bro, like, and the internet is dangerous, like for kids, So it's if you're at a certain age, your parents should be monitoring who you're talking to and what what's going on your phone. And I agree with that, to be honest with you. But back to the original question, should your partner have your passwords? No, I think that's a little excessive. I think that's more of a security thing, to be honest with you. Me personally, I wouldn't want your passwords. That's not really my thing. I definitely would not want to be with anybody that would want my passwords to my phone. That is just like, I feel like a breach of trust, and it's not healthy to kind of like almost want to control. And I think there got to be some type of level of trust in a relationship, and if it's not there, then maybe the relationship isn't ready to be as strong as you thought it was, and that's okay too as well. If ladies, if you're dating somebody and you don't fully trust this guy, don't force things, you know what I mean? Like, until you feel comfortable, I feel like you shouldn't move forward with this. If you're having doubts, and this goes out to a lot of ladies out there, before you get with this guy and you guys make a relationship, official and everything like that, if you have these insecurities, ladies, please don't bring this into the relationship. Try to address these situations or these problems before you get into a relationship, and make sure you guys are on the same page. I think a lot of this stuff comes up when people aren't on the same page, like the passwords and DMs and all that other stuff. I think a lot of those insecurities aren't addressed before the relationship is actually like kind of getting there. And I think personally, these things should be addressed way before. So that's just my opinion on it. Yeah. So ladies, if you don't trust your man, like, let him know. Make sure you guys are on the same page with that. Let's see. What's the most ridiculous reason you broke up with someone? I don't think I really have a story for that one. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I don't have a story for that one, to be honest with you. I've definitely had my time wasted a lot with women, but I'm trying to think of like the most dumb thing that I probably I'm trying to really think. Hold on. I don't know, but I've definitely had a couple instances where like I definitely have gotten ghosted by women by literally just by like not texting them back in a certain amount of time, like, or some stupid shit like that. So I mean, I don't know. But I'm trying to think. What red flags have you ignored and regretted later? I think you should never ignore how the way people treat you. I think this. I'm gonna speak on something real quick. I think this is definitely something that everyone can like resonate with. When you are first talking to someone, be very, very not mindful, but be very not cautious. But what's the word like? That you're like kind of like paying attention. Pay very attention on how they treat you. How they treat you with, I don't want to say attention, but in my instance, when I meet certain people, it's either I find out like later that they're a certain way, or I just find out as I get to know the person. But never ignore how people spend like, oh man, I don't know the word. It's more just like, never ignore the way people make you a priority, if that makes sense. Like, and I'm not saying when you go talk to someone like off the bat they should be like in your face and everything like that, but my instance is like, if you find someone not matching the same energy as you, like if you feel like you're doing, like, not doing too much, but if you feel like you're putting in too much energy, or I just want to say, like, I've had a woman or some women that I've dated that I thought maybe because we're not in the stage of, this relationship, that's why she's acting like this. Like, oh, maybe once we start talking for a little longer, I'll become more serious, or I'll become more of a priority, or, and I've come to find out that stuff really is something to watch out for, because if someone genuinely cares about you, they're going to match the same energy with you. Match. I don't care what nobody really says. I don't put time frames on nothing. I personally have dated multiple women over the years, and I've seen a lot of different things of how people treat me, for sure, depending on the time frame, how long I've known them. I've had girls I've known forever and, don't treat me as such as this other shorty, right? And she just met me, and then she's doing things for me that this other shorty that I've been talking to and spending more time and trying to take her out doesn't ever want to do for me. So don't ever ignore the way someone treats you, and don't ever think it's because there's a time frame on it, or there's no excuse for it. People really will show you who they are. And I guess I'm speaking from my perspective, but I used to always think like once I got to certain milestones with a woman, she will take me more serious or care about me in a way. And I think that is not true. And I think if someone really cares about you, and I'm, like I said in the beginning, I'm not saying off the bat they're going to go crazy, but I think they will match your energy, if not more. So be careful of that. Like, really watch how people treat you, no matter. Yeah, I think that's the best advice I could say about red flags and stuff. Pick up on stuff like that. Don't ever count anything out. Don't ever think it's that this is cool just because we're not together yet or what. Never. I think all that stuff is important. Comes up later in the situation for sure. So don't ignore anything. Yeah. I want to say, this is the other question. I was like, what's your worst or funniest date story? My worst date story would probably be freshman year. I had this crush on this girl. I was going to Whittier High School at the time, and I was a freshman. I had this crush on this really nice girl named Serena, and she was like one of those like goody girls. I had her in like one of my history classes or something like that. I sat right next to her. I used to make her laugh. We'd talk, chill. I never really hung out with her like outside of class or anything like that. I just met her at high school. We didn't go to the same middle school, so it was just like my first time getting to know her that year. And I remember, I'll never forget this. This got to be like the worst one. I don't want to say it's so much funny, but it's definitely the worst. I finally built up the courage, and I said, you know what? And the thing with girls, like goody girls or goody two-shoes girls, like trying to hang out with them, or at least if you're a guy like me, that's not so much a scholar and a nerd and everything like that, not trying to degrade anybody, but I'm just trying to give you guys a picture of the type of student I was. But wasn't the perfect, but you gotta understand, like in her eyes, I'm like this troublemaker. I make everybody laugh, so you just gotta understand, like, the whole point is when you're coming from that type of student and you're trying to mess with a good girl, trying to hang out with them is not going to be the easiest. So that just leads me back to what I'm about to say next. And anyways, I really wanted to hang out with her, and I knew she wouldn't hang out with me like outside of school and like that too crazy, like I said, we are like 14. That's back when parents were strict. You had to make sure the parents are cool with you hanging out with them. I hope this is still how it is to this day. I'm not too sure, but back then it was not too easy to kick it with certain women or girls back then, especially if they had strict parents. But back to the story. One day I said, you know what? I would love to take you out to eat during lunch. So at the time, I used to leave during lunch all the time. We had this thing called block schedule. So certain days we had no fifth period. Certain days we had sixth period. So if you had no fifth period or sixth period, whatever day it was, you got to leave early. So we used to have these little stickers that we used to have to show the security guard to let us out. I was so cool with the security guards. We would even finesse them sometimes, bro. Like there was so many ways to get in that, but I used to leave all the time. But I would come back, to be honest with you. Like I didn't really care that I would usually just want to go get food. And I said, you know what? Like, come on, like let's go get some food. Like we could leave. And I was convinced her. I was like, you know what? She was like, I don't know. I finally just come on. She's like, okay, fine. So I finally get to do it, and I'm like, okay, let's do it after class, right? I go grab her. I'm like, you ready? And that day, it happened to be like the one security guard that like was not fucking with me. So I was like, damn. And yeah. So basically, I'm like, okay, we're not gonna go out through the gate, but we'll figure out a different way to get out of here. So there was like a couple other ways, and they were all closed. And I'm like, okay, the only way we gotta go through is like the field. And this is already off to a rough start. So not only, okay, we get to the field, we're jumping over this high fence, right? And I remember, never forget, she was wearing like a white skirt or something like that. And long story short, she's climbing over this fence. And I'm like, yeah, you got it. And I look, and I'm like, the fuck? And like I said, I'm still young at the time. I wasn't dumb enough to not know what it was, but I didn't know if this was what it was. So I'm looking, and her skirt, like under, is all red. And I'm like, what the? I'm like, bro, what? And I didn't know how to tell her. I was like, you know, and I was like, you got a little. And she said, oh my God. And she just got so embarrassed, and I felt so bad. And I was like, it's cool. Don't cover up. And I think I gave her my sweater to like tie it around her waist. It was off to the bad start. But yeah, that wasn't even the worst part. The worst part was we go across the street to go get something to eat. That was good. So we went to go get something to eat. It was cool. But then coming back was not cool. We come back, and I'm thinking we're cool, but because we went on like the field or whatever, they got us on the camera. And it was pretty bad, because I usually never go out that way. And these are why I told these details of the story. But yeah, they got us on camera going out on the field, and they're like, go to the dean's office, they got you on camera. And I'm chilling. I don't give a like, see me, this is a light day to me. Right? I came back to school. You're gonna get in trouble because I left and came back. But her, on the other hand, she was tripping. She was like crying. She's never got in trouble in a day in her life. They were threatening her with this truancy thing. If you guys ever heard that word, that means like not going to school. It's literally a crime, I guess. But yeah, that got to be like my worst date, and I'll never forget that. And we never spoke. I think I texted her a couple times on Snapchat, but we never spoke after that. And I definitely didn't have a chance after that. Her parents came and like kind of pretty much forbidded me from talking to her, and got to be the worst date I've ever been on for sure, but the best at the same time, because I don't know. It was still like a win because I still got to able to go out to eat with her. It was just such an L because we got caught, but whatever. I don't know. But yeah, guys, that pretty much concludes the episode for today. Let me know how you guys are rocking with these Q&As. Let me know if you guys want me to do more of these, if you guys want to see less of these, whichever. Back to what I said, guys, we are in season 4. Make sure you guys are in tune with all the content that I'm giving you guys. I'm going to be doing these interviews with the biggest artists that you guys can think of. We got new equipment, new cameras, new mics, all types of stuff. It's coming together nice, and the quality of the vlogs should be a lot better now. You guys should be able to hear me a lot better. We got a different mic for that, so please bear with us. But that being said, the rest of this year we have I think about 5-6 months left this year, and I plan on going crazy. I still plan on getting this monetized, and that being said, I'm not too sure if I said this in the beginning, but we are going back to uploading once a week. We got to do it, and we have the resources now. With this new equipment, with the mics and this new camera, we're able to film all types of content with the best quality, and I'm really excited for that, and I'm really excited to give you guys more content. I want to say thank you to the Real Me fam, to everyone that supports my podcast. If I don't, I feel like I don't say it enough. Thank you guys to all the people that follow me on Instagram and hit me up saying that, I was watching your podcast. I love the episode you did with this person, whatever it is. We were just out in LA. at that episode that we just dropped with the MBJ, and someone there was like, man, I'm already subscribed to your podcast, bro. Like, I watch your shit all the time. And it's just such a dope feeling to see that, this is really coming into fruition, and we're actually growing and becoming a podcast that Los Angeles is starting to actually recognize. And it's been great. And I love you guys, and I plan on keep on going. But until then, make sure you guys are subscribed, following me. I'll see you on the next episode. For real.